This is Crime Cruise, Love Boat Exposed.
Saturday on the Love Boat.
The podcast that hunts down and tears apart shenanigans on this classic TV show.
I see an awful lot of bodies who really have nothing to be ashamed of.
When laws, morals, and behavior go rogue.
He's a student of marine biology, and I know a lot of Marines who like to study her biology.
We are there.
Saturday on the Love Boat, Julie's game to join an all-male club, but she's shocked at the things they ask her to do.
Now, from Studio 109, welcome aboard.
I think it's time you and I got to know each other better. A man gets very lonely at sea.
Yes, I can imagine.
The captain always getting lonely at sea.
Always.
There's no surprise there. I think we'd all be lonely at sea.
I would be, for sure.
Well, welcome. This is Crime Cruise Love Boat Exposed.
High seas and low morals.
Yes, and I am your host, Rob, along with our other host, Charlotte. And then our producers out in Utah. Producer Caleb, how are you?
Doing good, guys. Glad to be back for another week.
Me too.
It's been a long week. It's good
It
to
has
sit
been a long
down.
week.
It's kind of like I get to relax with you,
Yeah.
with my friends here,
Yeah,
my team. We discuss retro buffoonery, shenanigans. We always use those words when we talk about Crime
What other
Cruise.
word would you use?
None. I mean, it's always shenanigans and tomfoolery. Horseplay is another one.
Horseplay is a good one.
This is the show where we go meticulously through every single episode of The Love Boat. We started in season 1, episode 1. We tear it apart at the seams. Every single show. Producer Caleb hunts down these things that are morally reprehensible, and we call it for what it is.
We do.
Yeah, many would be arrested, brought into court with either criminal or civil cases.
Yep.
And we're in court. Court is on. Court is
Let's
in.
do it. I can't believe we're already in season 3, episode 7, you guys.
We just started season 3. It doesn't even make sense.
I know. They're flying by.
We're like a quarter in season 3 already.
Wow.
Like, it's nuts.
It is, and so much has already happened. We realize the wheels are off. There's no more training wheels.
Nope.
Well, guys, I hear a typewriter. That means producer Caleb is...
Researching.
Yeah, using an old 1950s typewriter, which is really strange.
Let's do it.
Three's Company is the biggest cast integration that happens on the Love Boat.
It's like it's their central casting office.
And
They
we
just
talked
call
about
up.
it a couple weeks ago. It's right. It's like, hey, Three's Company, who can we get this week? Last week we had Neighbor Larry.
Yeah.
Of course, season 1, episode 2, I think it was, John Ritter in drag.
Yep.
Joyce DeWitt was a couple weeks back. Suzanne Summers was in season 1. Audrey Lindley's been on 2 or 3 times, Mrs. Roper. Norman Fell actually is Julie's dad on the show.
I know, it's just so weird.
It seems we've had everyone, even a Chrissy replacement. Priscilla Barnes was on.
I know, and you told me that.
1.
You're the one that was an eagle eye and spotted that one.
I used to be a big fan of Priscilla Barnes.
Okay.
Good-looking lady. She was in the bikini contest.
Oh,
yes.
that was a very popular episode.
Yes, there was cultural appropriations in that one, as well as her doing like the Beaver song, which is an interesting one. But I mention all this Three's Company stuff, everyone, because there is another player. We made mention of him a couple of weeks back as well. I see him on our screen. He looks to be in the first scene here.
Super excited about it.
Oh, it is Don Knotts from the Andy Griffith Show, guys. Don Knotts, Barney Fife.
Barney Fife.
I'm looking at a screenshot where old Barney Fife has his pants pulled up to his nipples.
Yep.
And also there is a woman, it's Julie Newmar.
Her body is kicking. Her body looks like she's 22, but her face tells her, I mean, you can tell that she's a little bit older. But Julie Newmar, they did that movie with Patrick Swayze where he was the drag guy. Remember? What was it like? What was it called? Something about Julie. I remember the name. I can't remember the name of the movie right now.
There she is on our screen. Most notable in my life was her playing Catwoman. All right, guys. Well, we've been staring at this screen long enough.
I do like that bathing suit, though.
It's a cool bathing suit.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's see what happens on this episode of The Love Boat.
Devin?
No, hi.
You don't recognize me, do you? The way you get around, I'm not surprised.
Oh.
Marla Sands.
Wow.
We met at a disco party in Beverly Hills about a year ago. You said I had the most beautiful eyes you'd ever seen.
Oh, you do. You definitely do. You also have the most beautiful.
And why do
Oh, that's good.
Was he going to say boobs, butt? What was he going to say?
all of it.
All of it. He
High
was stumbling
cheekbones.
over his. Yeah, he was stumbling over his words quite drastically. And did she just interrupt him when he was talking to that other woman?
Yes.
She just busted up there and said, "Hey, I'm in a bathing suit."
This guy, he looks like a very famous celebrity.
Oh.
And so everyone, all the women are trying to hit on him, just be like, hey, how's it going? So that's why in like the first sentence, she goes, hey, and he goes, oh, I'm not. And then he looks and goes, oh,
Maybe I am.
hey.
Yeah.
She's on the prowl.
She's
regardless.
100% on the prowl.
She thinks he's someone he's not. All right, next screen up, we have the Doc and Gopher.
Oh, the Doc always brings joy.
The Doc looks to be leering in a direction.
He always looks to be leering. And
don't
poor
like
Gopher,
that.
he's stuck on a bad freeze frame.
Looks like he's holding a
Banana.
yeah. Oh, boy. All right, here it
I'm
is.
just saying.
Keep going. Oh, that's it so far.
That's it?
Isaac,
One
too.
sentence?
You'll never finish that book.
These things take time. Now, how long did it take you to get through medical school?
6 months. I only went to learn bedside manners.
All right.
Oh my God. So now we know the Doc only went to med school for 6 months.
Yes.
He has to have someone on the phone with him when he does surgery because he doesn't know what he's doing. And if he gets sick, he acts like a toddler.
Went to a
But he's a
6-month
ship
class.
doctor.
Yeah.
What the fuck is a 6-month class?
A certificate.
Okay, a certificate. Like, that's even like a really low bar
Like a
certificate.
pat on the back. Like,
Yeah.
isn't like medical school like 6 years or something? If you go in 6
Crazy.
months, it's
More,
just,
I don't know.
Yeah, because you have to do like the 4 years, right? And then you have to do like the residency.
It's like you never get out of school.
You never get out of school till like 30.
yeah. And then, like, I feel like after 6 months, Doc would probably know how to put on like a Band-Aid.
Maybe,
That's
but
probably all he's
there's
learned.
different rules for cruise ship doctors. Maybe a cruise ship doctor only has to go to med school for 6 months.
Man, that's wild. You know, in other times, turn of the century, you read a lot about how much medical training doctors actually had to get. And since it was so new, it was more or less like evolving from the position of butcher.
Right.
And people would just kind of arbitrarily decide, hey, guess what? I'm going to be a doctor. And you could go to certain states and certain schools like 1905 and stuff like that and become a doctor and then go to get reciprocity in another state. You could kind of fake being a doctor at the turn of the century. I feel the Doc has taken that path.
I feel he has too.
Okay, here we go.
Uh-oh.
This is healthaffairs.org. In 1960, there were 37 public and 44 private, fully accredited 4-year medical schools in the United States.
Oh, wow.
So even in the 60s, you needed 4 years.
4 years, and he only got
Minimum.
6 months. Well, now everything is coming into focus with this joke.
Now everything makes so much more sense.
Now everything makes so much more sense.
Do you think maybe he was joking?
I don't know. Does the Jack know how to joke?
I don't know. Well, his whole career's a joke.
He seems very cocky about it. Like, I only went to med school for 6 months.
All right. I'm seeing an older couple kissing.
Have I said something wrong?
No,
Older woman. She's probably
you
younger than
said
us.
everything right.
I told you. It takes time to make up 40 years.
We have no years to make up.
They're German or French or something.
You are not my husband.
What? Wait a second.
Wait a
Hold
second.
on.
Were
All
they
right.
married, Caleb? What
All right.
happened? Or did he fool her?
Let me set this up. They're on the deck at night where the moon
Everyone
is
makes out.
reflecting on the water. We see so much happen on the deck at night. The woman is Jane Wyatt, who was married to Ronald Reagan. at
Oh,
one
before
point.
Nancy?
Wow.
I think so, yeah.
Well, it
You'll
had
have
to have been before
check
Nancy.
that out. Hopefully before
Yeah,
Nancy.
hopefully before Nancy.
So, yes, and I know she, for a fact, is not German or French or whatever that accent is.
That was a bad accent.
What's happening here?
I don't know, it was just a
producer
bad one.
Caleb, what are we looking at?
Yeah, give me some context.
I would just read you the synopsis of today's episode.
Okay, that's helpful.
Shoe salesman Herb resembles a TV star and denies it until attractive Marla hits on him.
That's Don Knotts, okay.
Loretta and husband Gilbert were separated in World War II, but now reunite. And then Isaac's creative writing angers his friends by exposing their flaws.
Oh, go Isaac. Okay.
So those two elderly people that we just saw, they got separated during World War II and they haven't seen each other in 40 years or so. And so it's like this whole spectacle that they're finally reuniting on this cruise to be with each other after the
Did they
40
know
years.
that one another was going to be on the cruise, or is this another, you happen to be here too moment?
Question.
I'm pretty sure they planned it because like the opening scene, Julie was like reading the newspaper and being like, I'm so excited for them to come on board. And there's like a picture of them. And,
Okay.
and then there was like news people coming trying to talk to the the couple as they came on board.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you for backtracking
How'd they
a
get
bit.
separated?
We got so centered on the doc and his medical career, but now we kind of understand the plot. A little bit about those ass clowns, the crew.
Yes, the
Doc,
ass clowns.
Gopher,
That's a good word.
Doc, Gopher.
I like that.
I do
The
too. I'm
ass
actually use
clowns.
that from now on.
But was it me? Am I remembering something incorrectly? Didn't we just have World War II separated couple where there was a son that was forgotten?
Oh, yeah. He didn't know he had a son.
So we're going back to the well with World War II.
Yes, we are.
Is that not amazing that they were harping on World War II in the 70s because it was only like, what? 20,
Not that far
25,
removed.
30 years before.
Yeah.
Now we go 25, 30 years and we're in what? Late 80s, early 90s?
Late 80s, yes, it'd be like the USSR and Afghanistan.
Yeah, it would be. You're right.
And we've touched on World War II, Vietnam War.
We have done Vietnam.
So we're very war-centric on the Love Boat and very aware.
Well, do you think they're trying to like build audience? Like, I mean, those are always
think
like
so.
heartwarming stories. People are always sort of, down to see people that were in wars and separated reunite.
Yes,
right?
definitely also an opportunity to introduce a lot of old-time
Yes,
actors, which
it
they
is
constantly
100%.
do.
Yes.
All right, guys, here we go. We're back to the French couple from the war.
I'm sorry.
Unless they're German, I don't know.
How did you know?
I felt it from the first,
Of course, it's French.
but I did not want to admit it to myself. What I
bad French
couldn't
accents.
Understand was how you knew everything. Who are you?
When I first met your husband,
You knew him?
yes, during the war, we were in the same concentration camp.
Oh my God.
We became the closest of friends. He was always there to give me the will to live.
Oh.
That is Gilbert.
You bet.
And you are the one he lived for. He talked about you constantly. Until I felt I knew you intimately. And then during the winter, he got pneumonia and he died.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Womp, womp.
Wait a second. Did she know any of this?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I feel like we're not even watching the Love Boat
I feel like
anymore.
we're not either. Like, I'm very, like, all of a sudden it took a very dark turn and all of a sudden we're in concentration camps. Like, what
I
happened?
was starting to
Right.
get, like a little emotional tinglies there as I'm
Yeah.
watching this. It's like not the Love Boat anymore. No,
Well, especially if she's not going to stay with him. Where's the love in that?
I don't know. We finally broached the Holocaust.
We haven't done that yet.
I don't think so.
I don't
Had
think
we,
we have.
Producer Caleb, or was this the first for the Love Boat?
I'm pretty sure this is the first. When you said concentration camp, that alerted me.
It changes the entire situation.
Yeah, we've had World War II and we've had people talk about Nazis and stuff on the show before, but I don't think we've ever gone to concentration camps
we've
and
never
the
said that.
Holocaust.
Yeah.
Right. We have talked Nazis and we've talked communists and Russians before.
Yes, we
as
have.
well.
Because we had that communist girl on the boat, remember?
Loretta Swit.
Yes.
Who the doc was Mr. Freedom Fighter.
Oh, yeah.
Until
And
he
then
fell
she-
for her.
Yes.
No, she took advantage of him,
She did
remember?
take advantage of the doc.
Yeah, she took advantage of him. Okay, guys. Okay.
We'll be right back with more Love Boat Exposed. Go to loveboatexposed.com to send us a message, leave a voicemail, or learn more about the show and our team. Who knows? You might just be invited to the captain's table.
It's a pleasure to welcome you aboard. I'm speaking for my entire crew.
We're sailing away.
Oh, no, we're not.
We're not. We're
away.
right here.
We're here, guys. I just went button crazy. Man, I didn't sleep enough last night. So I'm
That
a
happens.
little,
Don't you
little
hate when that
punchy.
happens? It's fine. We like you when you're punchy.
Where are we, guys? We're going to hit play, aren't we? We just
gonna
talk Nazis and communists.
I mean, well, first of all, it's like a
It got
pretty
heavy.
It got
Holocaust.
really heavy all of a sudden. Like, I have to admit to you guys, I really prefer the silly
Oh my God.
Love Boat episodes
Yeah.
as opposed to like the ones where it's serious and they actually try to tackle real issues.
Well, hopefully we're back
what I
in the
mean?
Don Knotts business.
Yeah. Let's get back to him.
Let's see what happens. I don't know. 3, 2.
I don't remember meeting you.
Yes.
Oh, I remember the night we met. Even if you don't.
Well,
Look at her cheekbones.
about that night.
It was wonderful.
This is before filler.
I know I'm just
right?
another one of the countless faceless women who pass through your life. But I never regretted what I did. You're irresistible.
Oh, my goodness.
I want to mean something to you.
You do mean something to me, Marla. You really do. But you see, what you don't understand.
That's why.
Uh-oh. That's why I'm pregnant with your kid.
Oh, I wonder.
Well, she hasn't gotten to that part yet, but I was just improvising.
Wow.
Well, remember that he's not who he says he is.
Right, exactly.
And that's like that whole scene that we just watched. He was just trying to be like, hey, I'm actually not this super famous guy that you think I am.
But she won't allow him to. She's
No.
refusing to let him admit who he is. So then is it really bad if someone refuses to let you actually get it out and just continues to go with their own dialogue?
Well, that's his personality. So, I mean, is it bad in the scheme of things? Sure, he should be standing up for what he's thinking, but it's not his personality. It's not the Don Knotts personality.
I feel like it's a double-edged sword because he's living this lie that he didn't even say. He wasn't the one who initiated the lie, but he just went with it. And then at the times that he's trying to actually admit that he's not the super famous celebrity guy, she doesn't allow him. And then when that point comes, then she's probably going to get upset at him and be like, well, why didn't you tell me? This is your fault. This is all your fault. You should have told me that you weren't this famous guy.
Totally agree. But I wonder, did Don Knotts, I don't know what his name is on the show. Did he always know that he looked like this guy? Because if he looks that much like someone, I'd be milking it.
Right, me too.
I would assume so because the whole opening scene of this storyline, he was like, "Oh, I'm not him. Don't ask for an autograph. I'm not him."
Right.
Oh wow, okay.
The child isn't yours, Devin.
Yeah, I know.
You know? What do you mean?
She was
Wait a second, what do you mean?
I never met you at any party. You had never seen me before in your life. I'm a woman with a baby who doesn't have a father.
Oh.
I was scared. I was desperate. And when I saw you, a rich, successful bachelor, I thought... I scraped together every last dime I had to take this cruise just to meet someone like you.
Oh,
She
my
looks
God.
like a highfalutin lady, too.
I know. I feel bad for her now. But she did try to say she had his baby. I mean, that's what she was saying.
She
I called
was
it.
honest, finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, this seems to be the end of episode 7. Is there some resolve? So what happens?
Yeah, what happens?
The World War II storyline. They kind of agree that they have to keep this facade because the doc and the captain and everyone has put so much time and money to help these guys reunite. They end up falling in love, her and her husband's concentration mate.
Yeah.
I don't know what best friend, you know, I don't know. They end up falling in love and they get married and it's all happy days, whatever. The captain and the crew never find out that he was a fraud, basically. The Isaac story, he writes this book and Julie goes, you should write something that you know that all best writers write what they know. So Isaac writes a very not subtle book about the crew pointing out their flaws, and they all get butthurt, and then they realize Isaac's not wrong. We are like this, even though we don't like the way that he portrayed us. We are actually like this. So they were like, all right, Isaac, you can keep writing your book. We're sorry that we got offended, yada, yada, yada.
I would almost call that meta because the Love Boat is based.
I was just about to say the same thing. It's based on a book.
Right. It was a woman author.
Yeah.
Who
Has she
spent,
made an appearance?
Gosh, I don't know. We'll have to look that up for another time.
Okay.
All right. What
and then
yeah.
the final storyline with, what's his name again?
Don Knotts?
Don Knotts, yeah. The Don Knotts storyline. He ends up confessing like, hey, I know that this child wasn't mine because I'm actually not the celebrity, but I'm in love with you, really tall woman. And she goes, oh, well, I'm also in love with you too.
Wow.
And
convenient.
They end up getting married too. Like it was very
getting married.
Right. Everyone gets married on Love Boat, even though they've met for a day and a half.
Yep.
So
well,
that's
the great thing with them, she's poor, he's rich.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous, he's ugly.
Right.
It all kind of fits.
And she needs a daddy for her baby.
That's it. It all works. And
It
he's
all
like,
works.
I want to be a daddy.
I want to be a daddy to your baby. Yeah.
And so next episode 8, which doesn't have a lot of meat to it. It's a little unfortunate because I see who's on this show. We have everyone from Frank Sinatra Jr. to Joan Van Ark, Carolyn Jones, who was Morticia from the Addams Family, and Melissa Sue Anderson. There's a lot of good people in it. Let's see who makes the cut.
Let's see who makes the cut.
As the audience knows, we only include questionable behavior.
So we're supposed to believe that everybody in that cast behaved on this show.
I don't know.
Before we get started,
Okay,
let me
let's do
just
it.
read the synopsis.
Okay.
Because when I first looked at this episode, I had really high hopes.
Oh.
Okay.
A woman with a stepmother and 2 stepsisters gets a chance to shine thanks to Gopher.
Oh.
A woman sportscaster is surprised by her sexist TV partner and challenges him to a contest. And then finally, a man with his handicapped brother meets a beautiful woman.
Oh my gosh. So many
It was
wrong
like-
things just in the summary.
The most perfect episode, I thought. I was very excited, but we have 1 minute of footage.
Okay.
Only finding 1 minute to filter out of all those scenarios.
Everyone must have behaved.
Well,
Nothing happened in this episode, really.
Huh.
Well, you are the omnipresent producer, Caleb,
Yes,
who
you know
calls
best.
the shots,
Yeah.
and we believe you.
I do.
Do we have any choice?
We don't actually have a choice. No, I just show up.
Me too.
Anywhere, anytime against all opposition.
Don't hold back, Bud. Give us your opinion.
Peggy, if I knew you were going to be here, I'd have read up on something that you could talk about, like flavored lip gloss or bust development exercise.
How considerate.
I watch the two of you all the time. You make a great team.
We'll give you something you can talk about. Nail polish and shopping, when she's obviously knows what she's talking about.
Right. You know what bothered
That
me?
comment was just so dicky.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so stereotypical.
Mm-hmm.
And the doc just saying his line was so stiff. It's like, I watch you two, and you're just the best. It's like, can you not be honest with these folks, doc?
Well, he was leering at the female.
Yeah, he was. Well, those were the sportscasters and
Yes.
obvious sexist thing. Anything we should know beyond what we saw, producer Caleb?
No, the first scene in this episode, the doc noticed the woman sportscaster straight away.
Of course.
And he was like, "Oh, I love you so much. You're amazing. I watch your sports commentary all the time." And I was, again, really hoping, they were setting up so many perfect moments, but they just never... I mean, I'm disappointed that they didn't give the doc any sexual scandals, which is surprising to come out of my mouth.
God, it makes no sense. By the way, who we just heard, these two bickering work partners from ESPN are actually, it appears to be played by husband and wife in real life. It's Linda Day George, who's a very popular actress back in the day, and Christopher George. Oh. So it seems they are husband and wife, if I've got it right.
Working together.
Prove me wrong, audience. I dare you.
Okay.
And next up.
Hey, I think. Yeah. You seen Cinderella anywhere? No.
It's a costume party.
Thank you.
They're all dressed in
The steward says he can't find it anywhere.
stupid
Listen,
outfits.
you're better off not being Cinderella. I hear those glass slippers are murder on bunions.
Oh, very funny, but I don't have anything to wear.
Perfect. Grab a fig leaf and we'll go as Adam and Eve.
Oh, God.
That's so stupid.
That is dumb.
Plus, he's wearing a striped kind of
He doesn't look like
barbershop
Adam
cortege.
at all. Yeah, he looks like he's about to go, be in the middle of a circus.
Yeah, so she'd be there with a fig leaf, and he'd be
Fully
wearing a
clothed.
zoot suit.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
I will hand it though to Isaac, who seems to be wearing an undersea kind of round glass helmet or astronaut. I don't know.
Maybe an astronaut.
But if we think back, we're 8 weeks in or so, new fall season. I think we know this is probably a Halloween.
This is probably the Halloween
dress
episode.
up party
Yes.
kind of thing.
So, which means that all these people boarded a cruise ship with their Halloween costumes.
And it means everyone's getting laid with people that are
Everyone.
behind masks.
Yes.
They wake up in the morning and they
Yep,
realize
it's
they
a
slept with
true
a family
eyes
member.
wide shut up in that
Ooh,
bitch.
Man,
Yeah.
very much that.
Yeah.
A good analogy.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Producer Caleb, it looks like there's only one more scene. I mean, do we just go
Let's
for broke?
run it.
Let's
Let's
run
go
it.
for it.
Go for
Look, what I
it.
came out here for was to suggest that you stay on. I'll bow out. I can get
These
a
are
job
the sports
anywhere.
casters.
Oh, and I can't?
That's not what I meant.
Of course, you're probably right. All you have to do is show a little cleavage and
Oh my God, I hate him.
you're in like Flynn.
He almost looks
I
like
hate him.
Ray Liotta a little bit. doesn't
Yeah,
he?
really, all you have to do is show your
Yeah.
boobs and you'll get a job.
Oh, what a crud.
I have not gotten jobs before because of my boobs, because I was too much of a distraction.
Is that true?
Yes.
Like, what kind of job would you have been excluded
Well,
from?
if I ever interviewed for a man that needed an executive assistant and then his wife saw me, I never got the job.
All right.
Wow.
No, well, I mean, you're basically married to your boss if you're their executive assistant. You know everything about them.
You know, it's so wild. Producer Caleb had a similar story.
He did have a similar
he packs
story.
heat, as they say.
Yeah, in France, this sort of down.
Yeah,
remember?
so, I mean,
yeah,
he's
he has
lost
some
many
French
a job.
stories.
I mean, he got thrown out of South Carolina.
Yeah, he did get thrown out of South Carolina.
Those stories will go to my grave.
Yes, they
unless
will.
unless I write a book, then everyone will know my dirty secret.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Just keep all the good parts in. It does a lot of good for
Oh my
most
gosh! So that was one episode that was very promising from our
It
standpoint.
was very promising. Like the people that were involved, everything sounded so good. And
Anything
then
we need to know?
they had to behave on the Halloween episode. Who behaves on the Halloween episode?
Right?
They could have behaved like next week.
Who's Captain dressed as? What's Julie ultimately?
What's
dressed
Julie going to
as?
ultimately dress as? Just a cruise
She
director?
dressed as a chicken hatching out of an egg.
So
we're like
stupid.
So they
in,
just
like,
happened to have
some
that
feathers.
costume on board, but
She
no
had this
Cinderella
huge
ball
ass
gown?
egg, and then so the woman with a stepmother and two stepsisters gets a chance to shine thanks to Gopher. That storyline was basically the Cinderella plot. She had two ugly stepsisters, and the stepmother wanted to marry off the ugly stepsisters. And then this woman who was played by Melissa Sue Anderson, she could sing really well. And then Frank Sinatra Jr. was like, "Who was that mystery woman dressed as Cinderella? I have her shoe." Very typical, you know, like it was basically the Cinderella plot.
Got it.
The sports caster plot, the woman and the man, they decided to challenge each other, and whoever would win the most of these sport challenges could stay on the show, and the loser had to leave the show. So that's what the bit of context was for the last clip we watched, where he was like, "You can just flash your boobs and get a job anywhere," because he lost. And she was like, "Actually, I've been thinking, and you should keep the job. I'll leave somewhere else."
Actually, I was thinking we should get a divorce because you're a dick.
In real life, their
That's-
marriage perhaps ended.
Yes. Well, Caleb, so did they steal Julie's Cinderella outfit and give it to the sister? Is that how
They
she
did,
couldn't
yes.
find it? Okay.
Yeah, so the Gopher was like, "Oh, I've got this perfect costume for you," and then the stepmother walked in and was like, "Yeah, right. She's too ugly," or whatever the stupid excuse was.
Is the stepmom
and then she
ugly?
snatched the stepmom and the two sisters were horrendous.
Okay. That's
like
a pretty
jump
tough
scare,
word.
borderline. Pretty sure they were like men dressed up in drag.
Oh, okay.
It was like they wouldn't. Yeah. And then Gopher was like, "Well, I do have one costume that might fit," and he stole Julie's Cinderella costume.
Oh no.
And then poor Julie was about to have a coronary when she couldn't find her costume. It's like, girl, just relax.
Yeah.
Bitch, please, just put on a sheet.
I
mean,
wouldn't
she could have
relax.
put a toga on.
No,
I wouldn't relax if the doc was like, "Well, you could always just go naked and put some
Well,
leaves
yeah,
on
that's
you."
completely ridiculous.
And she's called him on his desire for her before, which is again strange in the last
Well, she's
season.
also thrown herself at him.
Right, that's what
Many
I'm talking about.
times.
Yes.
And then he kind of says, "Hey, let's get you naked," and then she just wavers. Julie's just wavering.
Julie just, I think Julie is just a people pleaser, and she's not ever going to get out of that role.
Melissa Sue Anderson, I forgot the most major thing she did, perhaps that fueled the rest of her life for 162 episodes. She was on Little House on the Prairie. Mary Ingalls, she was the older sister.
She was the older sister.
Yeah, so now we've had younger sister Melissa Gilbert,
Yes.
and now we've had her sister.
And you can
Jesus
see her
Christ.
real sister on The Connors as Sarah Gilbert.
Yes, that's right. And you once told me Melissa Gilbert, she's adopted?
She is adopted. Sarah is the parent's natural child, and Melissa
Okay.
is adopted.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But I love Sarah Gilbert. She's great on Roseanne and The Connors and stuff.
she's good.
She is good. And you know that Michael Landon's daughter, this is trivia for people that are listening.
Yep.
His daughter's on Yellowstone. She plays that cowgirl that can't speak
Yeah, she's
very
a
well.
tough chick.
She is, with all the pink hair and
Very tomboy.
She says burr, like burr. Give me
Yeah.
that burr.
That was great. I had heard that
Yeah.
when I was watching the show way back, and she's really good.
She is
She
good.
like epitomizes that kind of a role.
Yeah, and she looks like him too once you know that it's his daughter.
Are we going to get Michael Landon on the
We
Love
could
Boat
get Michael
ever?
Landon on the Love Boat.
Ah, who the heck knows, guys? Well, that's it. We certainly stretched out 2 episodes a bit, and it was a good couple
good
of
run. Yeah.
moments here we got to share together. We'll be
Kind of
together
bummed I didn't
again.
get to see Morticia Adams out of her outfit and in another role, though.
Oh, I know. And by the way, I'm going to wrap up the Gopher watch.
Yes.
He never responded to me.
Oh, okay, Gopher.
Dang.
I know.
We'll get him though.
We'll get him.
If anyone out there is related to Fred Grandy,
Yeah.
or maybe his mom,
Right.
or wife, or sister,
Right.
let them know.
Anybody.
We're here for them.
We are here.
We need people to
Yes.
join us, the people we love. We want our family to share with your Love Boat family.
Yes.
Our mutual love for the show. And that is about it. Producer Caleb, have I forgotten anything? Where are we at today?
I just want to thank everyone for another great week. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend. We're on all of your favorite streaming platforms. And we'll see you all next week.
We're sailing away, but we will be back with a new episode of Crime Cruise, Love Boat Exposed. Make sure to subscribe. We're on all your favorite podcast platforms. And connect with us at loveboatexposed.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure, but I have duties on the bridge.
It's been a pleasure, guys.
It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure.
And I get very lonely, it seems.